Hey there, it's Rick Khan from ZillaClick.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to test and scale your Facebook ads to the next level. So once you've launched a campaign and found that you're getting sales or leads and you're ready for scale, or even the opposite, where let's say you've tried scaling and find that when you scale you hit a wall and end up pulling back on your ad spend, then specifically this is going to go through a scaling strategy to test your winning ads, how to scale more without increasing your budget, and scaling issues and how to solve them. Now, just before we get into each of these, I'd like to quickly first mention is the truth about what scaling really is, because scaling is the easy part. All the hard work is already done, such as creating your ad, your sales page, your product, your service, and so on. And all scaling really is about getting more results from something that is already working. So let's say you have a winning offer and a winning ad that's getting you sales and leads, then all you're doing is using a few strategies to take that to the next level. But saying that, what's important to note here is that if you do get this wrong, you could also potentially ruin your ad results even when you try to scale it back. So even though it's the easy part, you have to also be careful in the way you scale. That's why if you follow the steps that I show you here, you should have the confidence to do it correctly. So let's get into the first part of scaling strategy for testing, which starts with a few rules that I've found have been very effective. Now, these rules, they're not set in stone, and what worked for me may be different for you, but these are good foundations to use. But ultimately, the key is to get your hands dirty and get to work to figure out what works best for you. But here's what I recommend. Once you launch your ad sets or you already have them running, what you want to do is monitor them until you get 1 or 2 purchasers, or until you get to your break-even point on your ad spend. Then what you want to do is double the ad spend and only do this once. So if you're spending $5, double it to $10. If it's $20, double it to $40. But here's the thing, only do this if you're spending a daily budget of no more than $100 per ad set, which I'll get to in a moment if your daily ad spend is more than that. But once you double the amount, you then want to give at least 3 to 7 day time frames before you monitor the results. And if you continue to get good results, you want to then increase it by 10 or 20% every 3 to 7 days. And you want to do this until you reach a daily ad spend of up to $100 a day. So once you pass the $100 mark, then you can continue to scale 10 or 20% if results continue to progress, and you'll do it within a window of 5 to 7 days. But let's say what happens if your results drop. Well, once you find your results start to drop when scaling, all you have to do is simply scale it back down. Now, let's say if you're starting with $100 or higher daily budget across each ad set, then my recommendation is this. Once you find that you have a winning ad set at a budget above $100 and it's making purchases or above break-even point, then you want to start scaling it of 10 to 20% every 5 to 7 days. There's no need to double it, just continue to scale it with 10 or 20% rule. But again, let's say it doesn't get sales past the budget, then all you have to do is scale it back down. And then move into the next part, which is how you scale without increasing your budget, which is very simple but very powerful. Here's what you need to do, which is monitor all results across all your ad sets. And any ad sets that are not performing, here's what you want to do. Shift your budgets from the non-performers that haven't had any results within 7 days and move them into the top 3 or 5 best performing ad sets, as long as it sticks to the rules of 10 to 20% increases. And at this point, if those top performing ad sets are performing to high levels, you can just continue to feed them incrementally. Or you could also start repeating and testing new audiences for scale. But by doing this, you're literally saving more ad spend and increasing your profits without spending more. But with all this said, there are also going to be issues along the way. Nothing works in a linear path. and arming yourself with strategies and what to do when things don't go to plan is key here, which moves us to scaling issues and how to solve them. Now, a big issue that most Facebook advertisers face is that their return on ad spend drops through the floor when they scale proven performed ads that worked well in the past. Basically, they find after a few weeks or even months, the audience that worked well before seems to have just suddenly died. Now, if this is you, the truth is, audiences don't die. Instead, what's happened with those good performers is that the same ad that worked well before has now fatigued out, or the angle in which you're using needs changing. So do this if you're facing this issue. First, monitor the frequency if it's passing 2 or more. If it is, change the creative. This usually solves the issue until you need to change the creative again. But let's say you've changed the creative and it's still not working, then you want to change the ad copy angle and retest the audience again, because the audience probably just needs a different way of positioning what you have. So for example, if you've been doing problem solution ads, change it to something such as a story-based ad, because story angles can help to scale and reach wider, larger audiences than most other ads. Now, there is a book I recommend on copywriting called Great Leads, which goes into detail more about this. Now, another thing to mention, when you test this same audience, make sure to reset the ad by reducing the budget back to its original ad spend. Now, another issue that advertisers face is when reaching a certain ad spend, they notice results start to drop. So let's say you reach a $200 daily ad spend and you notice each time you reach this particular number, your results start dropping. Now, if this is you, then there are a few different things you can do here, which is first, make sure you're using a CBO campaign and you're not separating your audiences, as this can cause overlap issues. It's not much of a problem if your budget is low, but the more you spend, the more you're going through the audience. So take your audiences, stack them and add them into a CBO campaign. And then another solution is the same as before, use ad angles that have wider reach, such as the story-based ads. Now, with all this said, I hope you got value from this video. If you did, it really helps to let me know by putting a thumbs up, and when you're ready to build more scale when targeting your best audiences, check out how to put your ads in front of Facebook targeting hacks right here. And until then, I appreciate your time and I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.